What's the greatest mental health tip you've gotten? Never evaluate your life when you're tired. This is so true. Ever notice things seem much worse at night when worries seem at their worst? The next morning your brain can think of ways to fix them, and most times they aren't there the next day. Edit. My mother told me this once and I've never forgotten it. Edit 2. Thank you for all those awards. Very kind of you. I cannot control other people's actions. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. Pretend you are your own child. Weird concept. But hear me out. That negative self-talk that's beating you down, would you speak to a child like that? What would you say to your inner child if someone told them they were an idiot or were fat or were useless or unloved? Practice a little kindness toward yourself. I'm trying really hard to do this, and this concept helps me extend compassion toward myself. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing it badly. If you can't handle doing it perfectly, finish it. Half-ass it at least. If you can't groom yourself due to depression, at least brush your teeth. Edit. Parent yourself the way your own parents never did. I'm still learning to do this. But I am definitely much better at loving and forgiving myself. Self-care isn't always a bath and a hot chocolate. Sometimes it's giving your head a little shake and doing what needs to be done. If you can't beat the fear, just do it scared. Edit. Whoa. I don't use Reddit too much. So when I went to bed last night after posting this, I didn't think it would blow up like this. Thank you all for the replies and awards. Nobody has this shit figured out. Do your best and wing it like the rest of us. It kinda made me feel like the feeling of being lost and unsure of what to do next was normal. Not me. But saw it in a Tumblr post. Run the dishwasher twice. To put it simply, someone had revealed to their therapist that they felt really crappy about not having the energy to hand wash their dishes. The therapist suggested that they just put their dishes through the dishwasher twice. They point out that you're not really supposed to do that. But the therapist essentially shrugs and goes, who says you can't? You don't need to follow all these little rules. The patient takes their therapist's advice and runs the dishwasher twice. They also shower while lying down and put their folded clothes wherever they fit instead of in neat little sections. In short, you don't need to follow arbitrary rules. Just complete tasks in whatever way is easiest for you. You can follow rules when you have the mental energy to do so. Edit. Thanks for the awards and silver. Kind strangers. The validation you seek from others is validation you refuse to give yourself. Edit. Thanks for the awards and validation. You beautiful strangers. It is okay to seek professional help. I mean, if you had some sickness or pain that wouldn't go away, what would you do? Go to the doctor and take care of that shit. Get some medicine. Advice. A plan to deal with it moving forward. Yet for some reason there's a reluctance or a stigma around people doing the same with their mental health. Oh. You're in therapy? Oh. You're struggling with substance abuse? Oh. You're on medications for mental problems? We're not supposed to talk about that. I went to my podiatrist today is fine, but not how I went to my psychiatrist today for some reason. If you're not feeling mentally okay, then go to the doctor that handles that sort of thing. Don't be ashamed or embarrassed for seeking professional help. That's what it's there for. Figure out who you are and where you want to be before trying to get into a relationship. This after a divorce. Happily married now. Much better place emotionally too. Remember, you're more than you give yourself credit for. There are people that might super focused on their jobs and feel like that's what their whole life is about. Try to remember that you are also a friend, a family member, etc. There are so many different aspects which make up who we are. It's important to remember this. One day at a time. Honestly, when I scale out any plans to weeks, months, years, all I see is that barely any progress is being made. So I end up quitting altogether. Now I just take most things as they come. Do what I do for the day and stop getting stuck on overall progress. Trusting that I'll get there in the end. It's less things on my mind, which has been wonderful for an overthinker like myself. It's not one I was given, but I was doing it and my therapist said it was a good thing to do. It's more for work or school. But can even be housework or social gatherings. When you are completely overwhelmed and you can't cope with everything you need to get done. Focus on one thing you can do in 1 minute. No matter how small or insignificant. Send an email to someone. Create a folder to save files. Type up the intro page. Take out the garbage. Get yourself a drink. Don't think of the overall task that needs doing. Just focus on one little thing that you can complete in 1 minute. Then start on the 5-minute things. Then the 10-minute things. That breaks your overwhelmed spiraling and gives you a clearer mind. Sometimes you have to cut off toxic family friends in order to survive and heal. It is valid. You are not a terrible person. You are doing the brave and responsible thing in order to take care of yourself. Hadn't heard this until 2020, so it's okay to not feel okay. Sometimes you've got to be selfish. If you can do something about it. Don't worry, you can do something about it. If you can't do something about it. Don't worry, it's out of your hands. No amount of worry will change it. I'm depressed. This is mine. Best tip I've ever gotten was whenever your mind is talking badly of you. Act like a detective and remove yourself from the situation. Analyze from the outside and see what is really happening. You will soon realize that these thoughts are not your own but one spawned by your illness. It helps me every day. Edit. Delete Facebook. Only FCK. What a difference. It's better to be disappointed than to live in constant disappointment. It was posted somewhere on Reddit before, but it stuck with me. Ask yourself. If I was trying to make a person as unhappy as possible, what would I do? You'll tend to find that not giving yourself a chance to sleep by downing coffee. Not thinking about screen time. Not eating properly. Not showering or washing clothes etc. are actually pretty reliable ways to depress even a happy person. This won't fix your problems. But it will remind you have some agency in your life. I spent ages depressed and not wanting to do anything but drink and sleep, but realizing I was kind of just waiting to magically become happy helped me take action. A shower. Clean sheets, clothes and a good meal can really help you feel like you're moving in the right direction again. You don't have to do them all at the same time. But you usually have the power to do at least one. If you're going through hell, keep going. Also, one thing I realized was that even though anxiety and depression could overtake my emotions, I could tolerate them and wait them out. The emotions themselves can't kill me and the fog will eventually lift. Don't take that as medical advice or an alternative to seeking help. I still took SSRIs and tried therapy. It's just a way to be patient with yourself while you're still healing. Don't obsess and beat yourself up over things that make you think, why did I say that? Why did I embarrass myself? Etc. No one cares. They probably don't remember and they are more concerned about themselves anyway. Go to bed. I'm sleep deprived. Work to live. Don't live to work. Try to not waste food. But if you have cooked more than you can eat, don't feel guilty about throwing it away because bugs will eat it. If you feel like you can't do a whole task, just try starting it. Think about how the next time you give it a go there'll be less to do. Most of the time when I take this advice I end up doing the whole task because I gave myself enough momentum. My friend once, in a very lack of sleep mind state, once told me that everyone you meet is born with a certain amount of FCKS. It's all RNG. But you only have so many FCKS you can give out, so don't bother wasting them on people or things you shouldn't give a FCK about. Save your FCKS for people that matter and give you their FCKS too. And whenever someone who I don't know hurts me, Or I feel anxious about what someone thinks of me. I think back at that night when he told me this. And choose not to give a FCK because I am worried I will give out too many and run out for the people who deserve them. Try to get adequate and consistent sleep. The only person you can control is you. I know there are some mental health issues where this won't apply. However, in my case it really helped me put some things in perspective. You aren't paid to worry about work on a Sunday. Don't let the toxic people live in your head rent-free. I have your infamous tiger parents, and one time I snapped and broke my mother's nose like straight jab to the face. And I was taken to see the psychologist. He understood my situation and told me, if you ever feel bottled up or fuming at someone, go somewhere and talk to someone about it. If you can't do that, go home and talk out loud about your problems with complete honesty. Just explain to yourself how and why it is bothering you. Edit. Just want to add some advice for those who will have the blessing of becoming parents soon. Have understanding. Yes, I am academically successful. But they got that at the cost of being hated by the same thing they made. A good therapist is one you actually like. Don't mistake motion for progress. This too shall pass. Applies to both bad and good times. So don't lose hope during the lows and cherish the highs while they're there. Thoughts are just thoughts. Be kind. In whatever way you can. Don't put yourself down. Look after your mind and your body. Be kind to others. Volunteer. Best tip. Go see a psychologist or psychiatrist. Getting some information off the internet is fine. But go see a doctor. It's like people self-diagnosing and treating themselves using WebMD. I believe depression is legitimate. But I also believe that if you don't exercise, eat nutritious food, get sunlight, get enough sleep, consume positive material, surround yourself with support, then you aren't giving yourself a fighting chance. Jim Carrey. Don't do meth. Stay on your meds.